going to try to invite Tom here, who says he's going to
So
be here.
who's the guy, Alan November? I'm going to have to Google him.
How's your hair looking?
Well, that's what I was just noticed. Poofed out
You
on
got
one side.
lipstick?
No, but that's okay. This is as cute as it's going to be.
You're using what to do this, Google?
Google Hangout. I'm going to try to invite Tom here, who says he's going to
So
be
who's
here.
the guy, Alan November? I'm going to have to Google him. Okay.
Okay.
Delete.
Hold on.
Oh, and then I start talking about my hair, of course. That's so professional.
Okay, it's here. We're waiting until 45 here.
With me right now. Because I asked her to cover 6, but I didn't know it was a 12.
And what I like about this, you have a chat here on the side, and there are apps that you can turn on or off, right? You can add apps. So you can draw, mustaches on yourself if you feel like it. But one that we used was, I think I have it turned on. The name app. Let's see. Let's go effects.
It takes a lot of
Oh, here's our effects here.
He's got it in the attic because we got alcohol with us until he goes in the rehab. Well, I got that out pretty quick.
Let's see if I can get this.
Yeah, we're waiting for him to go in the rehab.
Okay, I'm gonna cut all this out, of course, but we're just waiting on him to get here. Hang out on air, that was what it was. You can use this one to add a NASA, let's see, logo. How did I do that? I used a tagline. Maybe I think I put it down here. It's been like a couple months since we did this.
It has been a while.
Enable the lower third. I forgot that. Turn that on. And it shows up right here, but not
It's upside down on
when you
your
watch
end.
it.
Oh, okay.
And I spent the whole time
But
doing
if I
this
want
going.
to do
Sorry.
uh,
Why don't- and I'm trying
Carol.
to fix it while I'm talking.
Carol,
It's not
I-
working.
should I put Eubanks Intermediate?
Yeah.
Yeah, that is.
You know,
And why is it backwards? Because
Because yeah, it's like looking in a mirror.
Oh, that's so weird.
But if you were watching this, it would look right.
Right.
And
I'm just surprised
so
that
if I was like interviewing several schools, I could have them put their name or their logo here. It's like if I didn't want my picture there, I could put the MMS
Yep.
picture.
Yeah.
And there's all kinds of like add-ons that you can turn on, but I like it better than.
So at the end, I'm like,
Can
okay,
you
am
give me my
I?
phone, please? I just want to make sure he's there. Sorry.
At the end, of course, I'm the only one who says, am I the only one that has their name upside down and did this wrong?
Here, he's trying to clean it up.
Because, I mean, 30 minutes and I'm like, really? And I'm doing little things over here and I can't get that puppy to.
You remember Second Life, and it was kind of a big deal? I showed up at a NASA Second Life hangout with a group of high people from all over the agency that were investigating it. So I show up at this, top of a tower somewhere, and I fly with this really cool avatar. My entire avatar just went solid black, and his head was missing, but my eyeballs were still.
Oh.
And they all thought,
There are aliens.
How cool are
they did.
you?
That's what they thought.
Well, good.
They thought I did it on
It's a
purpose.
little blessing.
How did you do that? I'm like, don't know, actually. And one time I attached a wolf costume onto my avatar to play with, and something glitched, and I couldn't get rid of the tail. They're walking around with big wolf tails on.
Okay, let's see where he's at. Hold on. Of course, the bell You said 40.
So if we have teachers from other schools that are interested in doing this, do we just give them your email address?
Well, I can come show you how you can set it up, right? So you would want your email address. You would need a Gmail. You need a Gmail.
No, if another district wanted NASA to come visit, so I just email
Oh,
you.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Jennifer
Okay.
and me, or, yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
And as long as I have the budget and all that stuff, I can go wherever I think I should go. We
Troy,
can do the outreach we've done here, then we're good.
yeah, Troy is really busy, so this isn't the norm for him. So it's not like you're not.
You're teaching
Constantly
kids
out.
who come, or you're constantly out, or
He's
you're?
not.
I'm
That's
out
not what he
about once a
normally
month,
does.
and I'm usually teaching teachers and doing workshops that way. And then they go back to their schools, but every once in a while, when there's a huge opportunity like this, I'm like, yeah, of course, let's go see what we're doing. It's real
Yeah.
helpful for me because then I get to see what works and doesn't. That's why doing that magnetic activity
Mhm.
has been such a big deal, because I've been watching everything you guys are doing as far as how you distribute material, and how you get them into what they're doing and teach it.
Hello there.
Hey, how are you?
Doing well. Can you see us?
Yes. Can you see our
Okay.
teachers here?
Hi.
Hi.
Hi. We're very pleased that we're getting the chance to connect. This is Cynthia Alanis, our amazing librarian at Cottonwood Creek
sweet.
Elementary.
Hello.
And I'm Tom Kilgore. I teach 4th grade here. So I'll get our banner up in just a moment. You said you're going to be filming, Jennifer?
Yeah, I am broadcasting right now, and I'll edit the video pieces out here before we publish it, and I'll send it to you. So we are broadcasting now live, and
Okay.
we just had a lot of visitors here from our school board, and I told them, Mr. Kilgore, that I was connecting with Colleyville ISD. They were very impressed, and I'm excited to make this relationship happen. Here we are at the Eubanks Intermediate, and they're going to share with you a little bit about what they've done this week, and I have a few questions for them. I'm going to allow them to talk, and then I was going to see if you had some questions also after we're finished. Is that good?
Yes, that sounds great. We're just excited to be here, and I do have a couple of folks who may jump in with us. And just for the record, we're with Coppell
I went
ISD.
to Colleyville. Oops,
No
sorry.
worries. It's one of those other C's, you know. But yeah, we're
that's
glad
a
to be here.
difference, though. I'll correct that. I'll keep it on the video here. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So thank you, Coppell ISD, for connecting with us. These ladies have been working with NASA Education Outreach, Mr. Troy Klein, and I get to meet a lot of the other individuals who have contributed to the NASA Multi-Scale Magnetosphere mission, and they're using a lot of the middle school educational activities to launch a NASA STEAM student-led party, much like a maker space event, tomorrow evening, and they've spent all week exposing students to this curriculum, and this is very new to them. So I'm going to let them first start with their story. So can you tell us a little bit who you are and what you do, and just a very brief introduction about what you've been working on this week.
Okay. My name is Bea Price. I'm the technology teacher here at Eubanks. I work with both the 5th and the 6th graders. And we started on originally had started working with a 5th grade project last semester. The 6th graders this semester are working on a Space Weather Action Center. And we've been using the NASA site, all of the NASA materials, and the NASA site, once you go into it, is quite impressive. They have all of the resources that we've needed, and they have hyperlinks to other sources. It's made the research for our projects, for their little maker project, their artifact, much easier than I would have ever thought. Once they start looking at NASA's images of the sun, of the magnetosphere, of solar flares, CMEs, aurora, they are hooked. And then they start getting into the research. So right now my students are in the midst of that, and then they are going to create a project, either a video, an iMovie, a large trifold poster. They're given a choice of what they want to produce, and then we're going to the launch party tomorrow night.
That's awesome.
And this is Jan. She's one of our science teachers.
I'm Jan Arroyo, and I teach science lab. So I supplement the science teachers, do a lot of the hands-on activities with the kids. And we found out about 2 weeks before NASA was coming. So we had, I had an entire week to work with the kids on background information about the MMS mission. And I also gave them background information on the students, the people that were going to come and speak to them on Friday at the mission. Also Troy Klein, who's worked with them all this week. So they had a little bit of prior knowledge before he came, which made a big difference in how it turned out this week. And it has been an amazing journey. It has been incredible just to see these kids just jumping into this and learning as much as they can about it. And the questions that they've been asking are just like so out of the box. And the statements that they're making are just so impressive. I've been real impressed with the kids and how involved they've gotten with it.
Okay, we're going to look at 2 areas. The first area we're going to look at is content, how these 2 ladies have grown professionally in regards to their particular teaching content area. And the second professional growth area we're going to look at is the pedagogy approaches that they've been exposed to during the last few weeks. And so we're going to begin with content, and I'm going to let you both jointly kind of answer these questions, and I'm just going to read to you a series of questions, and then how you respond is up to you. So I gave them these questions, yesterday? Maybe it might have been 2 days ago, but probably yesterday morning. So they went home last Sunday. They were thinking about these questions. How much did you know about this subject before we started or introduced the topics to students a few weeks ago? What process did you go through to produce successful student learning outcomes? What content resources did you use to provide students with background knowledge and instructional activities related to NASA's MMS mission? And how does NASA's MMS mission relate to your state standards in curriculum? So I'm going to let Jan maybe kick it off.
Okay.
Really
How much
science.
prior knowledge should I have? 0. And at first, when they came to me and said NASA's going to be in your classroom, I was so excited. Then reality hit and scared me because I had no idea what MMS meant. So I got on the NASA website, and their website was so informative. I felt like I knew everything about it by the time I got through. Also, I went to the University of YouTube, and it taught me a lot also. Yes. So yeah, the fear, I was over the fear very quickly. Then when I started sharing with the kids what was going on, their excitement just kept growing and growing, and it's just exploded from there. And what was your last question?
How did the topics relate to your state standards or curriculum, your TEKS? In Texas, we follow the Texas Essential Knowledge and Skills TEKS.
Right, and I was very impressed with this because they connected so much with it. And that is a big fear for teachers, to have someone come in and using their instructional time and not following, the TEKS that we need to follow. And just the way they connected with science, with the sun, the earth, magnets, magnetic fields, natural resources. They covered so many of our TEKS. And with the hands-on activity to go with it, it was very impressive.
NASA does give you a good range of activities to perform with the students and the resources to do that. And in terms of TEKS for technology, which are expected to be covered by all teachers, it hit everything because we were researching, we were analyzing the websites, we were analyzing information, we got into the higher level learning
Bloom's
Bloom's
taxonomy.
taxonomy in terms of evaluation and then creation. And at the end of this, they'll do some self-evaluation and peer evaluation as well, especially with the launch party. I mean, that ties right into it. The other thing that I like as a technology teacher and as a librarian, you would absolutely tie into would be catching all of the TEKs for science at the same time, and also language arts in terms of research and writing, and that is essential as well. Also, social studies, believe it or not, ties into this because of the geography that's involved. Just looking at the aurora borealis, we're pulling up maps and assessing where the aurora borealis is going to occur, where it's possible to occur, that sort of thing. I knew some before Troy came because I spent last semester with my 5th graders working off of Jennifer's most excellent LiveBinder site. And I created PowerPoints, and I took the students through it one bit at a time. What I found was, my enthusiasm just sort of burst over into them. I mean, once I started showing them solar flares and coronal mass ejections, and we started talking about the effects on the Earth, they were hooked. They were so hooked. In addition, we also Skyped with Jennifer while she was at NASA, and that was amazing. And Lawrence Gartell, the artist, at one point he was talking to my class, and he asked us straight up, he goes, what grade are these kids? Because they were asking such deep questions, and when we told him 5th grade, he was thoroughly amazed, thoroughly impressed.
I know that we are. I want to kind of leave this open for questions here in a second, but I do want you both to relate back to how your teaching practices may have changed. You know, you mentioned that you were afraid or unsure prior to trying some of these approaches. Were you exposed to new technologies as a result of this experience? If so, how did students use instructional technology in your class? You were also, both of you, I think, were exposed to integrating STEAM, that's science, technology, engineering, art, and math, into your content area. Can you describe how integrating STEAM might change your approaches in the future? For example, I know, Jan, you were doing an art activity in a science lab. How did students react integrating art to a science lesson?
Well, NASA brought this lesson to us, and what the kids were doing is we taped a magnet down to a poster board, and then they had a magnetic probe, and they were finding the magnetic fields on this poster board, and it really opened up their eyes to see where these magnetic fields went, and so that turned into an art project, which was really informative for the kids. As far as changing the way I teach, my background is in math, so it's very structured, and so doing this, I'm learning to loosen up a little bit. I want to do more creative things with the kids, because I find that if I put it out there, their creativity comes out. So I'd like to do that with them.
I find myself, and I have 31 computers in my room, and I find myself telling my students, go out, explore, and create. Those two little words right there give them the freedom of choice. It gives them the freedom to explore, as you know, in breadth and depth in so many different ways. So I think giving them freedom on a site like NASA is amazing, and going just the hyperlinks, going to NOAA, going to the new NASA site, ISWA, which has a tremendous number of resources. It's actually geared, I found out, toward college students, which makes me feel better, because I was looking at that, I'm like, okay, let's figure this out. Ms. Price has some questions too. And that's good, because they see that I'm learning with them. They're teaching me. I'm not just direct teaching it and hand feeding them everything. Well, what does this mean? I'm like, Google, define KP index. You know, really and truly, it gives them so much latitude to move through the project in really any way that they want to, and learn so much more than if I just stood up there and said, there is the Aurora Borealis. It's called the Northern Lights. I mean, seriously, a different outcome, and definitely self-motivation increases dramatically.
That's good.
I'd like to say one more thing about the NASA apps. They've got some incredible apps, and my students are so excited about it. We're going to spend a whole class day just doing these with their devices. But there's one app where it actually looks like the child is holding a satellite in their hands, and then you can, with this app, you can manipulate the satellite. You can turn it around, see the underneath side, and there's about 25 different satellites on this app. And they were just in awe over this. Another one of their favorite ones was, there's an app of the sun, and they can see what the sun is doing at the same time that all the NASA and professionals are seeing do it. So it's an 8-minute delay, and they're seeing it firsthand.
Another one that they liked is Skywalk, where you just hold it up to the sky, and you can see all of the planets and all of the constellations. It opens up the universe for them. This is beyond just a field trip, way beyond a field trip, and you know how they love their devices.
Yes.
I have to run.
Okay.
So thank
Do
you
you have
very
any
much.
questions for them at all? Any questions for them?
I can stay for a moment or two.
Well, yes. I'm not sure if you mentioned research and analyzing websites. So as a librarian, I really love that part. But I'm not sure if your librarian assisted you or not at all, or a support. And I'm trying to figure out, just from you, because you've gone through the program, how would a librarian support you and make the teacher's job easier?
Our librarian this morning has set up a solar book display, sun display,
Okay.
to assist with our event tomorrow night.
I was thinking books too.
So providing a space in your library, perhaps, where students can now go and reflect using books, or even like a makerspace environment where they can display their presentations to the wider public, would be a great use of your library. You know, tomorrow night we are having an event where students are going to display their student projects. I hope that maybe that excitement could continue, and you know, we could display some of these projects in the library.
Awesome, yes.
So that kids next week can go back and talk about their productions. It's all about building community, right? And the library is the community center for your school.
True. Thank you.
That's awesome. And have your classes reached out to other campuses to share the knowledge that they've gained from their interactions with NASA? Because we would love to have maybe some of our lower grade levels connect with some of your folks and maybe have some questions for them or something along those lines. Might amplify their efforts as well. We would love to get involved in any capacity that we could. So.
I'd be delighted to share you going through the NASA site. We can look at the live binder, if that's okay. And I have a blog. Oh gosh. And I did post one of my PowerPoints, one of my initial PowerPoints that I used with the students to give them background knowledge. It's on bprice@blogspot.com, and you can take a look at that. Take a look at some of their products, because they're just phenomenal. Awesome.
Some of the students are blogging right now, and we also have started a Twitter campaign next door. They're not here right now. But if you want to get on Twitter and use #MagRecon, our older 8th grade students are using that to share their knowledge. And then, of course, there's a Flickr group where students can upload pictures and art to a Flickr group that's titled NASA Multi-Skill Magnetosphere Mission. So you can share your artwork there as well. And then NASA also has developed a blog, I believe. They're actually going to have a launch on March 12th. And I am going to meet a few of these intermediate students in Florida. And I believe next door at our middle school, they're going to have a launch party that night here locally. And during that event, all of our students will be sharing during their spring break. So this is optional. This is not really a teacher sponsoring this. We have a teacher next door sponsoring a local kind of launch party. But it's an individual choice of how the student spreads the message. So we have here, I don't know if you can see this, but there is a Flickr group called MMS Launch. And so you can share your photographs and reflections there as well. But yes, our students are sharing. The purpose of our launch party, the whole purpose is to set an example for other school districts around the world. And I'm excited to be that our students are hosting. It's an entire student-led event. They created the program. They're greeting the guests. A lot of most of the productions were done at home on their own time, and it's entirely student-led. How they choose Mr. Kilgore to share their message or their production is an individual choice.
Okay.
But hopefully some of these teachers might want to have a hangout. You know, maybe they will. I'll see if anyone's interested and definitely follow up with you.
That's
that would
awesome.
be great. Could I ask you to repeat the hashtag?
Yes, it's hashtag MAGRECON, MagRecon, for
Okay.
Magnetic Connection.
And could I ask you to tell me what your title is at your school? I'm sorry, I missed.
Well, that's fine. I am an instructional technologist.
Got it.
I'm also a PhD student at the University of North Texas, and that's how I became familiar with this mission.
Wonderful.
And just so you know, Nancy Benton just arrived. She's one of our amazing 5th grade educators. So.
Hello.
Great to
Sorry,
meet
our
you.
lunch starts at 1, so. I got
So
here
what do you teach, Nancy?
I teach 5th grade everything.
Okay.
Yeah, I know.
Do you have any after-school clubs, or how are you facilitating STEM in your district?
Well, we're not necessarily a STEM school. I mean, each of our schools in the district has a focus. We're a school of leadership. We have other schools in our district that are specifically STEM schools. But we love to include STEM projects, in math and science.
Wonderful. Well, maybe this could be a partnership in the future between the two schools. I think that would be awesome.
That would be great.
Yeah.
Our library tends to be a focal point for us, and we've done so many hangouts and chats with other students, authors, business leaders, things like that. So we'd love to connect and do things like that.
Yes.
if
Love to
we could
connect
get
our
the kids
teachers.
together and the teachers.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think this school, they've had a lot of Skypes and now a couple of Google Hangouts, so I think they're kind of ready for that challenge. So maybe we can
Great.
help facilitate that. You can help us.
That would be wonderful.
So you see this working in an elementary school. This could transfer easily to an elementary experience.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. And I think I
Absolutely.
speak for Bea and myself, and this has been an incredible journey. NASA had us ready, had us prepared. The materials are there. It wasn't difficult at all. I will do it again.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of the materials are geared for 4th through 8th grade. So
Okay.
your campus is what grade levels?
K through 5.
Okay. So yes, 4th and 5th grade, it's aligned to 4th and 5th grade.
Excellent. Well, we thank you for sharing your time today.
Thank you for
Okay.
sharing your time. Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Take care. Best of luck. We look forward to hearing more.
Right, bye-bye.
Okay.
Bye.